But even God is not contending with the character of anybody. He has given you the CFO of yourself. He cannot. You choose your character. God is not trying to change anybody. So who do you think you are, that you think you can change somebody? The only person that can change is the person who wants to change. You know, the Bible says, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears and opens up, I will come in. Jesus will not force himself into it. You just come in, you meet somebody, and the sheer arrogance of is it wisdom that you just come and just believe that you will change somebody? Listen, 2023, know that you cannot change anybody. What you see is what you get. Don't go into any relationship thinking you can change anybody. When you see their kind of behavior and you know it is something you cannot cope with, leave. How are you, everybody? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I want to try something today. Today has been such a very stressful day for me. It's as if they arranged all my cases and put in one day. Okay, Christian, thank you. Thank you for loving our program. So it was just a very exhausting day for me. So I managed to put things together as an advice to everyone going into 2023. So this will be my advice for people going into 2023. And I think I would attend to some questions. If you have questions, so please save them, type them down. So when I ask, that those that have questions, I can immediately, you can send and I would respond. This is Muyo Lota and Aussie Beats. Thank you. Let me go straight into the message for today. These are just tips for 2023. These are a compilation of issues. Let me tell you something. December is now bloody December. I was with some government officials, some federal government officials, and some state and police officials. We sat down in a meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know the number of deaths already in this December, first week in December, due to domestic violence and abuse? I wanted to take a picture of a gentleman who molested his own daughter. And the mother-in-law walked in and saw it, and she shouted at him. And he told her that what is her business? It is my daughter. I will do however way you please. That's how the lady got up and said, Lila. And as she was going out, the man rushed and gave her some sound. In fact, the mother-in-law is dead. Killed his own mother-in-law in the parlor. I wanted to take his picture. He's been arrested now. And the rate of spousal killings, it's just this December, I thought everybody would go on a break. It is terrible. There are numbers that cannot even be released to the public. It's like on hyperdrive. Annoyance. Was it last week, Monday, somebody killed his wife over an argument over water at Seaside Estate in Aja. Over water. They were arguing over water in the kitchen that somebody fetched. Let me leave that. Ladies and gentlemen, the first tip I will give you to go into 2023. For those who believe they can change their partner. Some people who have been told while dating that don't worry, he will change, don't worry, she will change, don't worry, what they need is mentorship. There's nothing God cannot do. Ladies and gentlemen, if a person's character is bad, it's bad. He will not change. You can't change a person. Leave. Stop daring your life. Stop daring yourself. The sheer arrogance with which you go into a relationship, believing that you can change somebody. Let me tell you something. I spoke about it last week. Olami 001, please hold on. I will call for questions shortly. Please just save that. Copy it and save that. There was an experiment done on 1,000 children in 1972 by an institute, a research institute in New Zealand. It was co-sponsored by the UK and the American government. They carried the test on 1,000 children born in St. Mary's, Queen Mary's Hospital in New Zealand. That experiment, between 1972 and 1974, 1,000 babies. They checked every 2 years on the development of the children till they were 21. And they found out that the personality of a child is already formed by the age of 3. And by the age of 3, you can already predict the kind of character the child would have as an adult. From the age of 3. So personality is formed at the age of 3, and character, according to behavioral research, is fully formed in a child by the age of 12. So you have between 0 to 12 to raise a child, to correct a child, to train a child. A baby, once the baby is born, is full of inherited traits and character. You would see that the child looks like a parent or an uncle or an aunt or a sister. The first phase in life of a child is hereditary. So also their their character, their personality. At the first and second year, you see that it is totally based on DNA. So the environment of a child is that which will now train or reinforce the character of a child, that by 3 years of age, personality will be obvious. And it has been successfully proven by that research. In fact, the British Institute of Behavioral Sciences or so, science, psychology or psychiatry, said that was the most exhaustive research till date. 1,000 children. It was carried out in New Zealand. And it shows that a child's personality can already be determined at the age of 3. Character is fully formed by the age of 12. Now, this is the point. You meet someone at 30 and you decide you want to change him. Someone whose character has been fully formed by the age of 12, who his parents could not change, who his family could not change. You meet him, and in the space of 6 months, the sheer arrogance with which you say, I will change a person. And I want to ask, I won't even ask if you have a degree in psychiatric or psychology. Have you even tried to change a dog before from a very aggressive dog to a very passive dog? What control experiment do you have to show us that it is possible that you have changed something before? Have you even tried to change a wall gecko? Have you tried to change a snake from swallow? What animal have you performed that experiment on that you think you can now, the sheer arrogance with which you come and believe that this hot-tempered person, by the time I start showing love, who told you? You're with a stingy person, you say, don't worry, I'll just be buying gifts, and when she receives gifts, she will now know that it's good to give. She will collect all the gifts, and when the gifts stop, she will still be stingy. He will take all your money And when the money stops, he moves to another woman. Let me tell you something, you cannot change anybody. I have told you. Look at the world. The entire world. At the snap of a finger, God can make everybody start worshiping him. God will make everybody righteous. Everybody will stop sin. God can do that with the snap of a finger. But even God is not contending with the character of anybody. He has given you the C of O of yourself. He cannot. You choose your character. God is not trying to change anybody. So who do you think you are? That you think you can change somebody? The only person that can change is the person who wants to change. You know, the Bible says, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears or opens up, I will come in. Jesus will not force himself into it. You just come in, you meet somebody, and the sheer arrogance of is it wisdom that you just come and just believe that you will change somebody? Listen, 2023, know that you cannot change anybody. What you see is what you get. Don't go into any relationship thinking you can change anybody. When you see their kind of behavior and you know it is something you cannot cope with, leave. Those destiny changers, you know what has gotten you into trouble? The woman that I told you was killed last week, Monday, over water. They had told her to leave, but those pastors told her that there is nothing God cannot do. Stay. What God cannot do does not exist. Be careful of these people who come under the name of tradition, family, or religion and give you strange advice that you can change somebody, that God will change somebody for you. No, the person is the only person. And listen, one action speaks louder than 1,000 words. Change is not in words, it is in deed. And the person will change before you marry. Don't go and marry looking for change. The person changes before. In fact, don't even, once you see their character, who they are. The character is defined by the Oxford Dictionary as the way a person feels, thinks, and behaves, which is totally in agreement with what the Bible says. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Character is a product of a man's thought process. The way he thinks, the way he processes, the way, he evaluates. That is his character. So look at the way he does. Look at the way he thinks. Look at the way he behaves. That is his character. If it doesn't align, leave it. There are over 30 million men looking for women. There are over 40 million women looking for men. That's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't trap yourself in any relationship. Nobody will change. Let us leave that. That is number one. The second advice for next year, 2023. If you are in an abusive marriage, please stop giving birth. You cannot keep reproducing in abuse. He beats you up today or she beats you up tomorrow. You are with an uncontrollable wife. I was in an interview today. The man's wife, when the man brought messages, when she says she's going out, she's going out. You call her, she will not pick until she comes back. At times she comes back the following day. Where are you? The husband says the way she talks to him is totally without regard or respect. That where you come from, at least when you're talking to your husband, show some kind of, that she talks to him anyhow, as if he's a neighbor. And then the family of the lady came and said that where we are, women don't, everybody stands up to talk, as in there's no reverence for any man or woman. And they are from Delta State. Unfortunately, the officer interviewing them was also from Delta State. He said, no, not that you should kneel down to greet your husband, but you can't be shouting at it. When he says it's enough, it is enough. The man says, look at, you will call, she will not pick. She will just say, I'm going for a party, my family party. And he says, so who will take care of the children? She doesn't know. By the time he gets there, she's gone. The children are there. And she won't pick up the phone. It's when she comes back, she comes back. I had to ask, I said, sir, you didn't date this woman before you married? He said, no. He dated for 2 years. I said, it's not possible that you are with a woman actively dating, not long distance relationship, actively dating a woman for 2 years and you did not see all this. He now said it happened after their 4th child. I said 4 children in the space of how many years? Said it has been happening small. See, when you begin to see all these things, stop giving birth. Women that are beaten yesterday and then pregnant today, I don't know how you are going to do it. At the end of the day, you end up being single mothers of 4. You end up being tied in an abusive marriage. You now say because of the children. Because of which children? Do you know that raising children in an abusive home increases the potential of the children for abuse? Where do you think these abusive men and women come from? Ladies and gentlemen, studies have shown when you go to the World Health Organization page on domestic violence and abuse, you would see their conclusive research there that abusive men come from homes where the man has seen his mother being beaten by the father, a family member, or an intimate partner. They come from abusive homes. You see, nobody is born abusive. Nobody is born abusive. They are raised abusive. So they come abusive. Then you, having children in an abusive home, what are you doing? Having more and more children in abuse, meaning that you are just reproducing the cycle of abuse. You are reproducing your abuser. And then you will now unleash them. They will grow up and then go and marry normal people's children. And that is how they will start the abuse there. They will now start raising another generation of abusers. In civilized countries, do you know that once your house has been nicked out as a place where domestic violence and abuse occurs, first, social services, they come, they take the children. They take the children away. That is the first thing. You are not seeing that child again. You are not seeing that child. They take them to foster. The state pays families. There are some families, that's what they do. They don't go to work. The state pays them to raise children, especially in the US. They pay them to raise children in an emotionally secure home. They pay you to show love to children. They will pay that. That's what they do. So when they take children from abusive homes, they distribute them into those. And that is how, people lose contact at times. When 4 children are now distributed in 4 different states, they go out of touch. They know that, listen, we have to do something or else these people will raise the next generation of abusers. So you don't even do that. You don't raise children in abuse. You don't give birth to children. Let me tell you what pregnancy does. In the old times, in the olden days, when an invading army comes to a town, they want to invade, the first thing they do is they start raping the women. You will find out that the moment women from other countries get pregnant for an invading army, their loyalty begins to dwindle between their country and the father of their child. Check it out. Genghis Khan raped over 10,000 women. That is why his seed has scattered all over Asia and Europe. Almost everybody has a gene of Genghis Khan. Do you understand? They start by raping. Look at Boko Haram when they took those Chibok girls. The first thing they did, some of the girls got pregnant. When they were rescued, the girls went back into the forest to meet the father of their children and said they are the ones that went. That they didn't kidnap them. They were the ones that went. Blessing Victoria, welcome. So pregnancy has always been a tool to put people under subjugation. I beat you today and you will see the way they come sexually. After beating you at times, immediately they sleep with you. And funny enough, I don't know how their body does it. The next thing, the woman is pregnant. If the woman wanted to go before, now that she's pregnant, she won't be able to go. They have just bought themselves another 2 years, 9 months to bear that child, and then another year to wean the child. Then they continue in the affront of abuse. And then before you know it, the girl says, okay, she's pregnant again. Look at it. The higher the number of children, the higher the probability for abuse. Normal people see them. Oh, Ambidate Syrup, how are you? Welcome. Normal homes, you see them. 2, 3 children. Abusive homes, 6, 7. They just be giving birth every 2 years. I met a woman with 10 children. 10. 10. 10. What does she do? She does nothing. What does her husband do? A mechanic. Udua Godofia, thank you. Good evening. Compliment of the season. How? The man, when we saw her, her right side, the man used a hot iron, this to hit her. But when the family comes, that they are taking their sister, next thing they will return her because they took her, they didn't know she was pregnant already. 10 times they've taken her, 10 times she has given birth. Now they are tired and say, why do you keep getting pregnancy is a tool. Gentlemen and women, please, 2023, if you are in an abusive marriage, stop giving birth. Then secondly, those whose husbands don't take care of the children, you will give birth, and to even get anything for the child, you have to know this, know that. Isn't it when you pass from class 1 that you are promoted to class 2? It is the way he treats the first child that will determine if there will be another child. It's just simple. Why are you giving birth into a community, into a home that the children are not being taken care of? School fees is wahala. Feeding is wahala. Neglect is 100%. Say, I don't have money, and then you come and give birth again. For what now? To what? They have not taken care of the first child. If the first child will determine if there will be other children. I don't know. See, we are tired of. Next year, I mentioned that I was giving my farewell speech at Quantity. Today was the Christmas carol at the state CID, and I told the officer in charge of the gender unit that I won't do this. What I'm doing, what I have been doing for 20 years, I'm not going to do again next year. That is running around, standing for this. You go take this one, tag them to court, writing this petition. I'm not going to do that next year. So if you think that, you will come to my office with a barrage of children saying that, please help me. Nobody is taking care of these children. The father is not. And I keep asking, how did they become 5? How did they become 5? How did they become 5? He wasn't taking care of the first one. You gave him another one. He wasn't taking care of the other one. You gave him another one. Number 3. He said he didn't have this. He didn't have it. Then you had to go out and start looking, selling for other. Next thing you got pregnant again. As in, is it what? Is it a raffle draw? How they take care of the first child will determine if there will be a second child. Do you understand? The guy does well, you give him another one. He doesn't do well, stay there. Stay there. Women, you know how to do it. Go get a contraceptive, go get whatever you are going to get. Birth control, child control, spirit control, whatever it is, you make sure it doesn't happen. You make sure it doesn't happen. Because right now, the way things are going in the economy, I'm in the market with other people that are in the market. Coming, counting the money and looking at, before they will buy Christmas shoes. No Christmas shoes this year. You understand? No, it's not. There's no raffle ticket this year. No Christmas shoes, no Christmas clothes. I just got a bag of rice. That one, I thank God. All the children are. See the calculation. It has not been like this before. You go today, in the same day, bag of rice will have 2 different prices. You go early in the morning, it is 39,000. By evening, they will tell you, okay, it has come down 2,000. In one day. And then the one woman that has not eaten morning food is giving birth to another child in the afternoon. That is number 2/A and B. Number 3, if you're in an abusive marriage, leave. Whether you are the victim man or you are the victim woman, leave. Leave. Let me tell you something. A mistake is a mistake. No matter how long it took you to make the mistake, it doesn't change the fact that it is still a mistake. You tell me that, but we've been together for 10 years. What you have been doing is making a mistake continuously for 10 years. This is what I am telling you now. Usually when you are driving down a road and you see that you have missed your way, you don't continue driving that, well, since I've lost my way, I might as well get to the end of this road and see where it turns to. You will stop. You will turn around, isn't it? The moment you realize this road, this is a wrong turn, this is a mistake, you need to stop and not accelerate. You need to stop. But some people say, oh, we've come down this road for 5 years. Because you've been in a mistake for 5 years means you should continue in the mistake. No, it just means you should stop, press the brakes. Don't go further and turn back. People are dying in marriages. I met a very dear brother of mine. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I saw him and he says, we hugged. Was that how would I call it? It's a lounge somewhere in Sabo. We hugged. How have you been? This very decent gentleman. And I said, Yawonko, and he looked at me. And all he told me was, do you know I never miss your program? I said, will you listen to my program? He said, yes. That I will leave the house, I will go into the car, lock myself in the car, and turn on the volume. That had I heard, when I just heard that thing, that if I had been hearing this before I got married, I just said, okay. What happened? He said he should have known that, the first thing he noticed was 4 days to the wedding. I said, how is that? You dated someone for? He said, 4 days to the wedding, I got a call. And she said that they have to change the hall, the event hall. He said, yes. As in the venue of the wedding. He said, yes. He said, after you've paid, after they've done, he said, 4 days. She said that they should change it, that it's small, that she would like somewhere bigger. And he said, after we've done. And she said, well, if you can't do it, then there will be no wedding. 4 days to the wedding. And then he looked, said, as we take B, you can't be threatening me. And I said, or there will be no wedding. 4 days to the wedding, you want to... that's Taiwo Sam, thank you very much. 342. It now dawned on, and then he flared up, kept quiet, and she said, well, it is that all. And what they were using was, Orientals, he didn't like... So he just told the parents that, so and so. And the parents were shocked that she said that he even thought that maybe their family just decided, and, the shock on the father's face and the mother's face. Don't mind that, go where? Change what? That everybody has. So they had the wedding. Maybe she now got pissed that thing did not. See, it has been almost a decade of just, it is my way or the highway. Just comes, don't want them to be in this school. She just found another school, not knowing how much it will cost, it will be. And after the man just said, wait. He just occurred to him, we couldn't live here because, no, we're not staying here again. We're moving to. There's some things you see. Let me tell you, whether it is even on the wedding day. I've seen someone, I even brought him to the program. His marriage lasted 3 hours. There's another gentleman, a very, very good friend of mine. Well, he was a volunteer. We became friends. His marriage lasted 2 weeks. I've been to marriages. There was a gentleman who contacted me. It was on the wedding day he found out that the wife had 3 children. On the wedding day, he said they saw some of the clips, I don't know. Well, on the wedding day, there is no good time to stop. There is no bad time to stop. Do you understand? Stop is stop. There is no, it is a wedding day. Let me tell you something. People seem not to understand that your life is the most important thing to you. That is what Christ came to die for. He didn't come to die for your marriage. He didn't come to die for your education. He didn't come to die for your standard of living. He did not come to die for your hobby or for your job. He came to die for your life. That tells you something. If God in heaven could see that your life is so important that a deity, a God, had to come and pay an ultimate price, how is it that people now misconstrue that marriage is more important? They now start telling you that it is till death do you part. No, Christ died once. He's not dying twice. Your life is more important than your marriage. First of all, because you were not created for marriage, you were created to live life. God gave you the breath of life, not the breath of marriage. So your life is the most important thing. To him, they say only the living can praise him. Only the living can. You see, everything starts with the living. Only the living can get married now. So the first is life, then there's, third, fourth, fifth. You might find marriage there. So when you begin to look at finding a problem, when you see an issue, you say, I've been in this relationship for 5 years. Where do you start? What do you mean, where do you start? You start from the beginning. Where else are you going to start from? Say, how can I start? But here's another tip for you. What if the person dies? Will you not start again? Will you die with the person? This eye of sentiment and all that is what you must get rid of. If you can rid yourself of tradition, if you can rid yourself of religion, and you can rid yourself of sentiment, you will see so clearly. Because these are lenses that block your eyes from seeing. When people bring tradition, this is how it is done in and funny enough, there is no divine tradition. Tradition was made by man. It was the opinion of another man that lived hundreds of years ago. I have defined tradition is simply peer pressure from the dead, where the voice of the dead is speaking louder than the living, where the dead will be determining how the living should live their lives. It is just amazing how a dead man can still be telling you how your traditional marriage should be. Someone that died 300 years ago. People that did not know how what my 12-year-old son knows today is more than what they knew 300 years ago. Yet, their limited wisdom is what is influencing your own decision. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in an abusive marriage, 2023, leave. There is no culture or tradition or style of living. Living is packing your bags and leaving. There is no announcement to leaving an abusive marriage that you are telling someone, I will be leaving you tomorrow. No. The person goes to work, comes back, you are gone. It's just simple. Just go. Firstly, you know that it is partly your fault. Yes. You are sitting in a place where fire is burning and the door is right in front of you, but you chose to sit down. And then you are burnt, bruised, battered, abused, and used. And then you are claiming and you are crying for what? The door has always been open. You can only cry out where there is no escape, number one, like in Alcatraz or in maximum prison, Kirikiri, or some maximum security. But when you are free to leave anytime and then you are listening to public opinion, one man, because he has the title pastor, Or one woman, because she has the title auntie. Or another will just tell you to sit down. Don't worry. Every marriage has its own. There is no perfect marriage. You just pray. There is nothing God cannot do. There are things God cannot do. God cannot lie. It's just simple. Leave. Take it from me. I keep telling you so that you will know how terrible 2023 was. 2022 was. Between January and March, we buried 64 women. You know there are 31 days in a month. Some months have 30 days. So if you add 31 plus 31, that's 62. Buried 64. Osinachi was number 65. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when you die, the world will not stop. Osinachi left 4 children behind. Saying, if you don't, for the sake of the children, stay. The mother is dead now. Are the children not alive? The father is in prison. Where are the children? Osinachi's twin sister was reaching out to us to help, and she was saying the church failed them, this and that, and this and that. And some were telling because of the children, stay. The children are alive. Life will continue without you. Your own is to protect your own life and fulfill your destiny. Marriage was not what God told you to come here to do. There is something God put you here. Look at the parable of the 5 talents. 5, 3, was it? Yeah, 5, 3, 2, 1, or 5, 2, 1. 5, what did you do with it? I made 5 more. 3, what did you do? Then 1, I knew you would ask me. I buried your... God gave you... There are things, problems, that you are the solution here. That is what God sent you to do. Not, is God going to eat from your kitchen, your matrimonial kitchen, or is he going to join you in your matrimonial bed? There is no marriage in heaven. When you look at Matthew 22, it is there. There is no marriage in heaven. So your marriage ends here. What will God ask you? What did you do with the talent, with the gift I gave you? That is what God will ask you. Sorry, I have some puppies who are just clinging onto my leg here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're in an abusive marriage, 2023, leave. 2023, if anybody comes to tell you that God told you that you are their wife or their husband, run. 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 Run for your life. If you have to run away from that church, run away. They come to tell you, well, sister, I've been praying, the new year, there's always 70 days fasting, 40 days fasting. Now I've been praying and fasting, and God said, you are my wife. Run! Or they are praying. There's a gentleman there, the pastor of their church said, God showed him a wife and brought a lady. They were dating. It was soon. I told him, you need to investigate this. And I found out that the girl was the pastor's niece, looking for husband. Immediately, they found husband but the pastor did not share that's my sister's. He just said, God told him. Hey, let me tell you something. From Genesis to Revelations, from the first book and first verse, Genesis, from Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 to Revelations, it's 4,228 years, if I'm not mistaken. It's 4,228 years. There has been no time in 4,228 years that God said, this is your wife or this is your husband. It simply does not exist in the Bible. Anywhere in the Bible. Check it. Even in the birth of Christ, God did not tell Joseph who to marry. And that was the most important union in the history and the future of mankind, because through their union, they were to raise the Savior. Yet, God did not say, this is your husband, this is your wife. The angels were busy. Angel Gabriel came to Mary. Oh, blessed are thou amongst women. Went to Elizabeth and said, in your womb you will conceive. Went to Zachariah, went to the herdsmen. None went to Joseph to tell him that, listen, go down the street. When you turn right towards Ted Joshua, you see that spa building, go upstairs. Third floor, you see a girl sitting down there. Her name is Mary. That is your wife. God never said that. They left it to him to choose. So if God did not do that in the birth of Christ, who do you want to give birth to that God will have to be telling you who to marry? It simply is an extra scriptural doctrine and practice. And it always leads to embarrassment and shame. Look at it. I have broken this down several times. God did not give anybody wives. Proverbs 18:22 says, he that finds a wife finds a good thing. The Bible does not tell you how to date, who to date, when to date, which tribe to date from. It leaves that to your custom. It leaves that to your exposure, to your knowledge. But what does he say? He that finds a wife, that is, if you find a good woman, Proverbs refer to women as concubine, maiden, and that place Solomon used wife, not concubine, not maiden. He described women in 3 categories in the book of Proverbs: the concubine, the maiden, and then the wife. That means the wife does not possess the qualities of a concubine or a maiden. That is wife. If you find a wife, you have found a good thing. Nobody should come and mislead you, saying God told them. It is a lie. God does not. You see, the Bible tells me something. Oh, I've used my leg to kick the